Matthew chapter number 15, verses 21 through 28. Matthew 15, 21 through 28. You can also glimpse over at Mark 7, verses 24 through 30. You can also glimpse over at Mark 7, verses 24 through 30. Matthew chapter number 15, verses 21 through 28. I feel this one in my spirit, you all, this morning. Jesus, keep me near the cross. There's a precious fountain, free to all. Oh, ye day straight flow from Calvary's mountain in the cross. I walk and wait. Oh, I see that golden strength just Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Lord. Matthew chapter number 15. verses 21 through 28. I want to know the word so I can live the word. For to know the word is to live the word. So Lord, show me in this word. From the New International Version of God's Word, it reads on this wise. Leaving that place, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. A Canaanite woman from that vicinity came to him, crying out, Lord, Son of David, have mercy upon me. My daughter is demon-possessed and suffering terribly. Jesus did not answer a word, so his disciples came to him and urged him, send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. He answered, I was sent only to the lost sheep of Israel. The woman came and knelt before him. Lord, help me, she said. He replied, it is not right to take the children's bread and to toss it to the dogs. Yes, it is, Lord, she said. Even the dogs eat the crumbs that fell from their master's table. Then Jesus said to her, woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted. And her daughter was healed at that moment. Look again at verse number 23. Jesus did not answer her, so his disciples came to him and urged him, send her away, for she keeps crying out after us. I want to wrestle from the thought, necessary noise. Necessary noise. Tag your neighbor, tag your Facebook team, tell somebody, text somebody. Necessary noise. Necessary noise. March 13th, 2020, Louisville, Kentucky. A young woman is enjoying an evening with her beloved. All of a sudden, there comes rumbling on the outside. Loud antics and hysterics occur throughout that apartment. And at the end of this disturbance, a life is lost. 5 months and 3 days later, no arrests have been made. Minneapolis, Minnesota, a man who may not have been attempting to transact business with inappropriate funds loses his life. And the only reason why we know is because somebody had the right phone with enough minutes and enough battery power to record the scene. It took months after we learned that a young man just taking an afternoon job was strung up like a modern day Emmett Till, because he quite possibly may have been poking around in the wrong house, in the wrong neighborhood. We find ourselves in the midst of one of the worst pandemics, medically and socially, that we've ever experienced. And for so long, these and so many other experiences in our world have been attempted to be swept under the rug, because either no one says anything or their voices are so so soft. There's not enough forte in order for them to have any impact. But this Canaanite woman, this woman of Syro-Phoenician descent, helps us to understand that every now and then it's all right to make necessary noise. You look at the text carefully, the reason why she's making necessary noise is because there's a problem in her house. Her daughter has become demon possessed, and it has affected her, the mother, in such a way that she no longer can keep it to herself. She's heard that there was a doctor in town. She's heard there was a healer in town. She's heard there was a way maker in town. And even though he was not on her PPO program, even though he's not a part of her HMO plan, even though her coverage is not covered by his office, she still understands he's got what I need in order for my daughter to be whole. So she starts making noise to get his attention, even though he and she are technically not supposed to have any kinds of doings with one another. I need somebody in here to understand when you realize how critical, how crucial, and how serious the matter is in your lives, we've got to be bold enough, bad enough, and blessed enough to make some noise to get the power's attention in order for some of that power to trickle down to us. You've got to realize it got so serious in her house that she got outside of herself. She got outside of her social standing. She got outside of the opinions and stereotypes and insults of the modern day culture, and still makes noise to the power that she's heard that's able. I heard that you're able to heal. I heard that you're able to deliver. And I think my daughter is special enough. My daughter is worthy enough. My daughter is necessary enough. My daughter is essential enough. My daughter is significant enough for you to hear my situation, for you to hear my situation, for you to hear my situation, for you to hear my humble cry. No wonder if she had a songbook, she probably would have said, "Pass me not, O gentle Savior, hear my humble cry. While on others thou art calling, do not pass me by. Let me at thy throne of mercy find a sweet relief. Kneeling there in deep contrition, help my unbelief." And to make sure he heard her, she says, "Savior, Savior, hear my humble cry. While on others thou art calling, do not pass me by." Her situation was so serious that she goes to the school board to say, "Wait a minute, what are you going to do about my child and this coronavirus outbreak?" The situation is so serious. She goes to the supervisor of elections and says, "What are you going to do about counting my absentee ballot?" She goes to the Bureau of Labor and says, "What are you going to do about my unemployment benefits?" She goes to her family and says, "What are you going to do about my baby?" She goes to the house of God and says, "What are you going to do about my child? I see you around here blessing everybody else, but I'm standing in the need of a blessing." She goes on and makes necessary noise. Watch what else she does. She keeps making noise even when they tell her to be quiet. She keeps making noise even when they tell her to be quiet. Here, the disciples know these Jewish men
tell this Canaanite woman, be quiet. These Jewish men tell this Canaanite woman, stop talking. These Jewish men, these men in social authority, tell this woman who they consider to be a dog, stop barking, stop howling, stop groveling after us. We have no time for you. You are disturbing or disrupting the peace. You are rocking the boat. You are making unnecessary chaos to a situation that we do not plan or desire to address. Go away. Go away. And the one who she's been calling after, still even he says to her, listen, I didn't come for you. I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. These blessings that I possess right now don't have your name on it. You're not authorized to receive them. They're not necessarily your brand or your flavor. I can't do nothing for you, ma'am. But she keeps on hollering. She keeps on making noise. She keeps on protesting. She keeps on praying. She keeps on trying to apply for the right to vote. She keeps on applying for the job. She keeps on standing in line to get tested. She keeps on, she keeps on, she keeps on. Even though they said no, she still got a yes in her spirit. Even though their voices said no, she still got a yes in her spirit. Even though they keep on slamming the door in her face and telling her she's not worthy to be around, she still keeps on making noise because she recognizes somebody's got to hear me. Somebody just missed their shout. Let me say that again. Somebody's got to hear my pain. Somebody's got to hear my plea. Somebody's got to hear my cry. Somebody's got to hear my call. I just can't let my baby die. I just can't let her sit there and suffer without me doing all that I can to get the attention of the folk who I know are capable of making a change in my situation. And even though they may dismiss me, even though they may disappoint me, even though they may try to disrespect me, even though they may try to disgrace me, I'm still woman enough to speak my place and state my claim because I recognize what I desire from them they possess, and I'm not going to let them go until they bless my soul. She makes this necessary noise to get their attention. She makes this necessary noise even in the midst of their insults. She makes this necessary noise and flips the script on the situation. Watch this. Necessary noise can change the opinion of your oppressor. Look at the text carefully. Jesus says, ma'am, I only came for the lost house. She says, Lord, help me. He says, well, it's not right for me to take the children's bread and give it to the dogs. But she says, well, yes it is, because even the dogs can eat the crumbs that fall from the master's table. She says, I hear what you're saying, but since I'm here, and since you're feeding, keep on feeding and let me get the crumbs that are going to come from the table. Since you're here and already blessing, let me just hang around and let a few drops fall fresh on me. Since you're already healing, since you're already delivering, since you're already making waves, just let me touch the hem of your garment so I can be made whole. I know you're on your way to Jairus' house, but let me just touch the hem of your garment. I know you're here for the Ivy League, but since I'm a part of my local community college system, just let me get enough so that my daughter can have some financial aid. I know that you're here to bless those on the other side of the railroad track, but let me just hang around a little while so perhaps I can get me some 1988 Jordans so that my baby will have some shoes on their feet. I know that you are here for the elite, for the upper crust, but just allow me to hang around so that I can get into the entry level program as the new front chef at the new McDonald's down the street from my house. I don't expect you to give me the top of the line blessing, but since you are in the blessing business, just let me hang around the atmosphere. Because if you're on her block, if you're on my street, if you're in my neighborhood, even though you're not at my house, I know your aura is in the atmosphere. And as long as your aura is in the atmosphere, it helps me to understand there's a blessing on the way. Don't dismiss me. Just let me hang around and get whatever falls from your table. And I wish I had a few witnesses here who understand. Some of us know about just being in the room. We may not have been able to sit at the table, but we were in the room. We may not have been the guest of honor, but we were in the room. We may not have been on the VIP list, but we were in the room. They tried to count us as 3/5 of a person, but we stayed in the room. Every few years, they have to come back to ratify the Voting Rights Act because we kept staying in the room. We may have been the 5th or 6th person called on the list, but at least our name was in the list, on the list, because we stayed in the room. We did not grow weary in doing what is right, because we realize in due season we shall reap if we faint not, because we stayed in the room. And while we stayed in the room, we just staked our claim. We made it clear we're not here to cause any trouble. But whatever you have, I'll just take whatever's left. Because if you put your hands on it, I know it will be more than enough. I know that if you put your hands on it, 2 fish and 5 barley loaves not only feed 5,000 men, women, and children, but there are some leftovers that fill up 12 baskets, which helps me to understand that is more than enough. I realize if you put your hands on it, you'll take a cup and anoint my head with oil, and my cup will run on over, because it will be more than enough. I understand if you put your hands on it, you You just verified the statement that says, my God shall supply all of your needs according to his riches and glory. I understand if you put your hands on it, you will make sure that I have some. My children have some. My children's children have some. Because you just don't bless for right now. You're a generational blessing kind of God. And I've got some good news this morning. The report came back that when the woman returned home, her daughter was already healed. Her daughter was already blessed. Her daughter was already provided for. Her daughter already had her name on the list of being accepted into the school, being hired for the job, being next in line for the vaccine, whatever mama made noise about. God worked it out. And I wish I had a witness in the building. I wish I had a witness out there in social media who be able to turn hypothetically to somebody and say, I'm glad somebody made some necessary noise on my behalf. I'm glad somebody opened their mouth. I'm glad somebody kept praying. I'm glad somebody kept pleading. I'm glad somebody kept on saying, Father, I stretch my hands to thee. No other help I know. If thou withdraw thyself from me, whither shall I go? I'm glad somebody kept bothering the Lord. I'm glad somebody kept disrupting the service. I'm glad when the music stopped and the shouting kept on. I'm glad when the benediction was given, the praise kept on. I'm glad when the broadcast was over, somebody still had their hand up, opening up their mouth and saying, Lord, do it right now. And if I had somebody here who can help me real quick, who understand we were at the club, we would tell the DJ, hey, Mr. DJ, you're playing my song on and on and on. But now, we don't have DJs with headphones on, but I got a DJ in the room, sitting in the booth, ready to spit a blessing my way. And I know they always say, my DJ needs to hear is me. Call his name and tell him what I need. I heard my grandmama tell me Jesus is on the main line. Tell him what you want. And if I had a few witnesses preachers out there who can just open your mouth and say, Mr. DJ, that is Dr. Jesus. Please, sir, send me healing. Please, sir, send peace. Please, sir, send equality. Please, sir, send justice. Please, sir, send equity. Please, sir, send some favor. I'm calling you. I'm ready to make some noise. Here's my noise, Lord. Hallelujah. Anyhow, here's my noise, Lord. Thank you. Anyhow, here's my noise, Lord. Do it, Jesus. Do it, Jesus. Do it, Jesus. Right now. Right, anybody who's ready to make some numbers, put your hands together. Open up your mouth. Open up your mouth. Open up your mouth. Open up your mouth. And say, now, Lord. Now, Lord. Now, Lord. Now, Lord. It may not come when you want it to come. He may not do it when you want it to do it. But I'm a living witness. Show up right on time. And if you need some encouragement, I got something I need to tell you. He just made whatever the time. God will. God will. God will. God will. Take care of you. Lord, yeah! 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 Ah, yes, he will. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Yeah! Yes, you will. Necessary. Necessary. Necessary noise. 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 Even though they try to dismiss you, make necessary noise. Get attention. Get the attention. Switch the atmosphere. Change the opinion. Stand your ground. Stake your ground. And while you're on your way, your blessing is already on the way. Thank you, God. Necessary noise. Necessary noise. Necessary noise. Necessary noise. No longer can we afford to be silent. No longer God we serve has more than enough. The God we serve has more than enough. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Today's your day. Today's your day to find your voice. Today's your day to find your voice. Lord, I need you. Save me. Today's your day to find a place where your voice can join a cloud of witnesses, become a part of this ministry. Today's your day to come back. You've been gone too long. Come on back home. Today's your day to stake your claim and say, hey, I'm ready to stand for you. I'm ready to share that you even use me. When others call me a dog, when others call me a failure, when others call me a fraud, a phony, when others dismiss me as second-hand, second-class, no account, you open the door for me. You open the door for me. You heard my cry. You heard my voice. Today, I declare myself available to you. If you need to be saved, come on. If you want to join this ministry, come on. If you want to come back home, come on. If God is calling you for greater, come on. Make that decision. Simply type it in on your screen. We know God already knows the answer. We'll be shouting with you as you make a decision for Him to make necessary. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Now unto Him who's able, be all honor, majesty, dominion, power, henceforth and forever. Blessings of Him, peace and power, in Jesus' name.